So is everybody capable of being great?
Well, it depends on your definition of greatness. If we use the conventional definition, no. But if we use, to my mind, a better definition is everyone capable of doing something unexpected beyond what
They're doing
or what society thought they were capable of? I would say absolutely. And that's really what the stories I tell in this book are, all attempts to understand people who didn't settle for the hand they were dealt, who refused, like, you know, I tell this story of, I always mention that cancer doctor who had that appalling childhood, or the little village up in the mountains in France. These are all people who weren't given much conventionally, but refused to let that stop them from achieving something else. And that's the spirit I'm trying to
You're tired,
understand.
you're poor, you're huddled masses.
Yes.
Are the ones. Experts now, I mean, everything that has made us is now being, it's all about the collective, not about the individual, and it's all about taking pain, whether it's Bush taking away the pain of TARP from the banks, which destroys them in the end, or us giving our, giving trophies to kids in school. It's all about eliminating pain. If you read your book, that's exactly the opposite of what we should be doing.
Yeah, I have a phrase, this phrase I talk about a lot in the book, called desirable difficulty. And this is this notion that we need to do a better job of distinguishing between the kinds of things that genuinely cause pain and suffering and the kinds of adversity that are necessary for growing stronger and learning. And we have confused these two categories. And it's time that we sat down and had a conversation about what is, when we look at it, I have a chapter about how large should a class be, pointing out that when classes get too small, kids do worse. It's not a good idea to constantly try and put kids into smaller and smaller classes. There's a case where we have confused these two things. It's not a bad thing for your child to have, to not have a constant 100% teacher's attention, right? They've got to learn to figure things out by themselves. Nothing wrong with that little bit of difficulty.
Have you ever read Benjamin Franklin's letter to, I mean, Benjamin Franklin was the one who started the public hospital system. I mean, so he gave away his potbelly stove because he wanted to help people. So you know he's a compassionate guy. And he's writing to Parliament, and he said, your system is crippling people because you're giving them handouts. He said the best way to help people is to make them uncomfortable in their poverty. So you help so much, but then at some point they've got to get up off of their own and start to do it. That, you could never say that today. You'd be a hate monger or everything else. If you don't take away, if you don't want to take away all pain, then
that's a difficult, it's a really hard conversation to have, and we're not in the mood for having difficult conversations. But this is what I'm trying to do with this book, is just to get, I want people to start thinking about, all right, there are certain kinds of adversity that can have a profoundly beneficial effect on character.
I think,
and that's,
I would say that all adversity is, depending on how you internalize it. If you let it destroy you, then that's one thing, but it's your choice. Thank you. Really fascinating. I'd love to talk to you again.
Thank you so much, Glenn.
Back in just a second.